This is DJ Thielen, CEO of Forge Foreclosures, founder of Flipping on Demand, and today is episode number 14 of DJ's Dugout. As you guys know, we changed the name from the Art of High Ticket Wholesaling to DJ's Dugout to bring you more inspiring stories and inspirational things and success tips from entrepreneurs, athletes. It's really cool. I got a really close friend of mine. Hey, can you hear me?
Now that's better. I was
Okay.
seeing like the internet connection's having little issues or something like that, but that's better. Now it got better.
What's up? Is that on your side? Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's kind of we must have bad connection. It's kind of odd because when you went live, everything kind of changed a little bit. But anyway, it's doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing good, buddy. Let me. Are your kids downloading some stuff or something?
So,
No music playing.
Could you get off the internet for me, please, for a little bit? Could you get off the internet for me, please? Yeah,
maybe
she's gonna. Yeah, she just got off. So.
Okay, maybe that'll. Yeah, maybe it's just stuff going on. What's up, man?
Not much. Just hanging out at home, just taking it easy. It's kind of hot up here right now, so it's makes you want to stay inside until the sun goes down, so to speak.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, man. So, first off, man, thanks for being on the show, buddy. Now it's good.
Yep, there it goes. Yeah.
Thanks for being on, man. And hey, so obviously, we go way back many years, which we'll get into and chat about. But hey, so talk to the people, the people that are watching this now. We're gonna share with them. Hey, scoot a tiny bit over to your left, just a tiny bit. There you go. Yeah. That's center now. So, hey, so share with the people on here, man. Obviously you had a great career with the Giants, a great, career afterwards. And we'll get into some things, but share with the people, there's a lot of people on here that are going to watch this, man, over and over, not just live, but the replay, especially. Share with some of the people, man, on here. Well, first of all, how far we met each other, in 91, 93?
90 spring training of 93. Yeah, that'd have been 93 would have been my first spring training. So since 93, and then we played 93 since 93.
Dude, one of the best teams, man, wasn't it?
Same. Yep, definitely. I mean, you have something special when you could literally. I mean, you and I have done this before. We sat around a table and started, just talking, and we could name the entire team.
Yeah.
Including guys who left and came and, had the little revolving door, so to speak, getting moved up to San Jose or whatnot. And we sat down and named every single guy that was on the team. So, I mean, I've been on teams where, I could barely tell you, other than the starters, you forget about certain guys because it wasn't that close.
Yeah.
That team was special. It was real close.
Yeah, man. We had some fun times, man. Some that we won't mention on Facebook, but good thing the internet, good thing social media wasn't around then, like we talk about, right?
Yeah, nowadays you could go ahead and again I'm around the team a lot, and you rarely see those guys. The reason being is because of social media. Some of them they're private and they try to protect themselves, so they stay away from being seen, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they spend a lot of time either hanging out each other in a private area, in a private room, but I don't blame them. I mean, nowadays you sneeze the wrong way and someone's recording it just because they can, and they're posting it everywhere. And
you look at someone and they're pregnant.
Yeah. It's almost invasion of privacy to an extent, because if I'm sitting at the table, you and I are sitting here, and someone is across the other table and they're recording you and they're putting you on some kind of social media, that's almost invasion of privacy because I didn't ask to be put on there. You
Yeah.
know, people who
Yeah.
in my 2 cents, people who have their account and they're posting all kinds of things about themselves and their family. Hey, that's their choice, and they have the right to do it, and that's fine. You almost want to say, well, that they're fair game because they're choosing to put themselves out there. But if I'm not doing that, please don't put me out there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, I hear you, man. Well, we're gonna help these people out, man. Today. So, hey, share with the people a little bit about, who Marvin Benard is, where you're from originally. Obviously, I know, but where you're from, where you grew up, and kind of how you grew up.
Well, I'm originally from Nicaragua. For people who don't know, it's a small little country in Central America, next to Costa Rica. They bordered Costa Rica. When I say we, I mean my parents decided to leave the country in '82 because of a civil war that was going on to avoid myself and my brother, possibly doing military service. Um, my parents picked up and moved out, and we came and we relocated to Southeast LA. Matter of fact, my parents still live in the same house that I first came to when it first came in. It's 40 plus years. Um, and I started playing baseball, and one thing led to another, and I got drafted in high school by the White Sox. I had no idea what it was, so obviously I didn't sign. I went to junior college. I got drafted out of junior college by the Phillies, and they tried to get me to go like real cheap. The round that they drafted me in and the money that they offered me at the time, again, I had no idea what the draft was about. So I asked my coach for help, and he said they're trying to take advantage of you. So go to school. You know, the scholarship that they're offering you is worth a lot more than the bonus that they're trying to give you. So we went ahead, and I ended up at Lewis and Clark State, that's where I ended up playing with a real good friend of yours that you grew up with,
Yeah, Jake.
Jake Taylor. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I don't know if you know, but Jake just got the Lewis and Clark State head coaching job. I don't know if you knew
No,
that. Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He just got that job. But anyway, so and then I played my 2 years there. Got drafted by the Giants. Started my career in '92, and by '95 I was up in the big leagues. And by 2003 I was done in the big leagues, and I was trying to figure out how did it happen. Because it seems like I blinked and I was there, and then I blinked again and the career was over, and it was just surreal, so to speak.
Hey, let's go back. Let's go back. So you and I, it's funny. So in '91, I signed. You went to Lewis Clark State.
Hmm.
Jake, who I played with at Mount Hood, went to Lewis Clark State, and I'll send this to Jake. But and anyways, so I signed with Lewis Clark
Hmm.
State to go there with Jake, but then once I got drafted, I'm like, I might as well sign and go on, right? Like 19 years old, and everything looked like $1 million back then. And so I signed and got my signing bonus and went and bought a gold chain and a scooter and some Jordans. I tell people, man, I told
That's
my son,
funny.
man, don't do what I did. Like I was an idiot. But
You know what one of the funny things in baseball. I can't talk for other sports like say football or basketball, but I do know baseball. And you could pretty much tie in almost just about anybody and everybody that ever played college baseball and had a chance to play pro ball. Because let me give you an example. Like you and I, right? We met in '93. We got
yeah,
drafted. We signed by the same guy that signed you. Ended up signing me.
yeah,
This,
Shaper.
yeah, the same scout, right? So then you and Jake were good buddies. Jake and I ended up playing together at Lewis and Clark. Both of you went to Mount Hood, and that's where my son Isaac ended up going to junior
Yeah.
college. It was in Mount Hood. So it's kind of odd how even though let's say before you and I had met, we were beginning to get intertwined,
Yeah.
whether we liked it or not.
Yeah.
So the baseball world is real tiny and real small, and it's amazing how you could sit down and keep talking, and you could connect people one by one.
Oh yeah, man. I look back at that. It's so funny. And I want to share. I want you to share something with people on here that to inspire and motivate them. So you went to LC State,
Hmm.
were drafted in one of the later rounds, um, and then you ended up, we were in Clinton together in single A,
Hmm.
and this is, a lot of people don't know this, man. So I'll let you share it from your version. Share, if you don't mind, share the story of the whole with you and almost getting let go and getting called into Jack Mole, our manager's office,
Uh,
could beat the shit out of a shopping cart with a fungo bat when we didn't win, which we experienced. But but
yeah.
but kind of that story, like of so you go to first year, in short season, do well, go to single A, and you're on this kind of teetering cusp of
Yeah.
where they have to let an outfielder go. Share that story.
Well, again, for in case you guys don't, there's anybody out there that don't understand how the Major League Baseball draft works, the easiest way for me to explain it to you is this way: is that you have, when you go to the playground in PE class, or you're just hanging out with your little buddies, you're going to pick teams, right? You said, okay, we're going to pick two captains, and the captains go ahead and they said, okay, you and I are captain, and they said, okay, you go ahead, you pick first. Whoever you pick first, that turns out to be your first round pick. Then it's the other guy's turn, and he picks, and that's his first round pick, and then you go pick again, so that becomes your second round pick. Um, Instead of having just two captains, since there's 30 Major League Baseball teams, there's 30 captains out there, right? And the playground is the entire country, including uh,
Yeah.
Canada. Included Canada is included in there, right? So you get the team that finished with the worst record gets to pick first, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Well, in '92, I was a Giants' 50th round pick, which usually on the playground you're going to pick pretty much the guy that you think is the worst player. You're going to pick him last because there's a reason you're not picking him, because in your mind he's not as good as the guys that you're picking in front of him. Anyway, so I got picked in the 50th round in 1992, and I went to Everett, Washington, and I did okay, but Jack Mole, the manager that turned out to be the next year's manager, he was a roving catching instructor at the time, and he came by. And I remember this is what Kenny Woods told me afterwards. My other teammate that signed with me from Lewis and Clark. Um, I guess Jack had asked Kenny, what's the deal with Marvin? And he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, he's out there sliding, diving, and during batting practice." And he said, "Well, you don't understand. Marvin just excited to be here, and he just taking advantage of what he's got." So we went to spring training in '93. That's when you and I had met, and we were on that same Clinton team together. Um, and Jack told me, he goes, "No matter what happens, you're going to come with us to Clinton." He goes, "They gave me 24 guys, and they made me pick one as a project, and you're my guy." So no matter what happened in spring training, unless I die or I get fired, you know, just letting you know that you're going to be on the team. And I went. Things were great. Started off great. I spent, what was it, the first week playing. Everything was great. Then I got pneumonia. Then that turned into bronchitis. So I missed like 2.5 weeks not playing. And when I came back, I couldn't do anything right. I mean, I couldn't hit water if I would have fell out of a boat. That's how bad things were. And at the time, the draft was coming in. How that goes.
Yeah.
50 new guys come in, 50 got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently they were calling to get me released. And Jack kept telling them, no, 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 no. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. He kept arguing with them, and he would call me in the office and tell me, "Hey, look, they want to release you. I'm trying to fight for you, but you need to give me some ammunition for me to be able to fight for you." And the cool thing about it, he would always look at me in the eye and say, "Hey, tomorrow's a new day. Let's start fresh tomorrow." And I don't know if you knew this, but at the time, I had hit first, second, fifth, sixth, fourth, eighth, ninth. If there was a 12th, they would have probably put me in 12th. The one time you end up missing a couple days. I don't know what happened, but you missed a couple days, and he put me in the hit third. And when he put me in the hit third, that was at the beginning of the second half. By then, they had released my roommate Papa, who was hitting 300, and they kept me hitting 195. And I remember like if it was yesterday, I cried because I didn't think it was fair. I thought it should have been me. And I could see him. He just looked me in the eye and said, "Hey, just take advantage of it." Take advantage of the opportunity that you're getting. Those are words I'll never forget. Anyway, so then you got sick or something happened to you, and he put me in to hit third that day, and I got 3 hits that night. And then the next night, I think I got 2 more hits, and then I got another 2 hits the next night, and it seemed like the snowball just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you came back, and by then my confidence was up. I was hitting pretty good, and he kept putting me in all different slots, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I had started hitting, and I
So
never stopped.
what was it? What was it from that point? So you find yourself at the cusp, man, in '92, just starting out in the minor league system of almost getting released or being on that cusp where it could have been you, it could have been someone else. It ended up not being you. Um, but what was it that kind of turned things around, or that got you, from a mental side? By the way, man, I got to tell a quick story. So when Marvin was going through this, and he stuck there, I gave him some. What were those shoes, man? The
So
ringer, the
Rydell, some of
Rydell.
the ugliest shoes you'll ever see in mankind, man. Those are the
Hey, and
ugliest
so
things.
and what happened?
Those became my hitting shoes. I mean, no matter, it, the funny thing, once I got hot, right? Once I got hot, and how they say, if something's not broken, don't try to fix it. I would
Yeah,
put those shoes on, and we end up calling them the magic shoes because I could
yeah,
not
the
do
hit.
anything wrong with them. But they were the ugliest thing you'd ever seen. And even after I got hot, I thought, okay, cool. I would take them off. Um, and as soon as I would take them off, it seemed like nothing would work for me. And then I'll put them on. It's like, boom, magic.
Yeah.
I'll start the game with some other shoes, and I go 0 for 1, 0 for 2. I'll run inside, put on my ugly shoes. Next thing you know, I got 2 hits. It's like, what the hell? You know,
He went off the third base bag. It bounces in.
Banks, yeah, just I mean, you hit a ball and it finds that one pebble that's on the ball on the field. They would find it and bounce the other way. They couldn't give the guy an error, so it would give me a hit, that kind of thing. But it was, you asked about what was it, and I
What was it
can't.
that kind of clicked? Do you think with you, where it's like, hey, man, it's time to turn this around? And like I don't know, obviously you had a talk with Jack and everything, but what was it mentally that clicked that had you go from just doing okay to really just go into the next, to really, I should say, tap in your highest level of potential that you
Yeah,
had inside of you?
I think a couple things. I never stopped working. Okay, I never stopped getting to the ballpark early and keep hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. My confidence was down a little bit, and I didn't believe in myself. When things are not going right, it's hard to keep that positive mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept working. I never stopped working. I kept believing in what I was doing, but I didn't. I wasn't seeing any results. But I just kept at it, kept at it, kept at it, kept at it, and then over the All-Star break, I mean, I could remember going back to the apartment, just sitting there crying because nothing was going right. Nothing was going right. And then, when we had those, 2 days, 3 days off, I stopped. I just gave it up. I just stopped worrying about it because I was trying to control something I only had X amount of control over.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped thinking about getting 7 hits in one game or getting 12 hits in one game, and I started focusing on one at bat, one pitch, one at bat, one game, just focus in the moment, and that was able to get me out, of that big where I was seeing too many things instead of just focusing on the little things.
Mm-hmm.
Once I started doing that, and my confidence started growing, it was, I could feel like I could touch the sky. And it felt that way because in the second half, I mean, I went from hitting 193 in the first half to hitting like 440 in the second half, and other than just changing my mindset, a
Mm-hmm.
couple of things. I never stopped working. I kept working, and I changed my mindset a little bit. I started focusing on the little things that I knew that I could control. That's the things I started focusing on. And once I got going and my confidence was up. I mean, it's easy to play and do things when your confidence is up.
Yeah, and you said some things, man, that I'm a big believer in. Is that one, taking advantage of the opportunity. I think so many people in business, in life, and in just anything, there's so many opportunities that present themselves, but people are scared, or they don't believe in themselves, or they don't think they can do something. And just to, those of you that are listening to this, man, just to realize that you're never going to know that the only way you're going to gain confidence is by doing stuff that you're fearful of, and realizing that, oh, that wasn't bad, and you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it. That's how you're going to get over it. But Marv, you hit on something that a buddy of mine, Jerry Wilson, that was on last week, that is a big one of the top mortgage brokers in the country. I've known Jerry for 25 years, or not as long as you, but basically, I mean, he said, DJ, when the mortgage company collapsed, and to rebuild, I basically said, okay, I'm going to start today with this. I'm going to lay one brick today. I'm going to be the best I can today, be present, and be the best I can today, not worry about anything else that I can't control. And I'm going to lay this brick, like Will Smith says, I'm going to lay this brick as perfect as I can. Tomorrow I'm going to lay another brick, and pretty soon I got a wall. And so it's funny that you mention that, because you start, seeing these kind of things in common with people from a mental state, right? Like not even baseball or business, but hey, this is how I got out of this. This is how I gained control back of my life, of my mind, so that I could start having, creating some positive results,
Yeah,
So
the trigger thing. Sometimes we don't know when that opportunity, which one of those opportunities was the one that you should have jumped on, and the one that was going to take you to where you needed to be. But you will get opportunities. You know what I mean? And it's hard to try to figure out which one it is. I believe that's when you have to trust either your instinct or your heart, and said, okay, this one feels right, so I'm going to go with this one, or do your homework. Investigate, study it, and just focus on it and do your thing. People always like, how'd you get there? Was that your dream, or that's your goal? My dream was never, I'll be honest with you, was never to play in the big leagues. My dream was to play where I was, if that makes any sense. I was just focusing on doing the best job I could where I was. I never worried about what was going on at the level above me, or the team in front of me. I focused on the team where I was. I focused on what I was doing, because if I figured out early that if I started paying attention to other guys that were doing other things, I'm going to lose focus on what I'm trying to do. And then all of a sudden I focused on what I was doing, and then I took a step forward. Kept doing that. Next thing you know, there was another step forward, and then another step forward. Next thing you know, I'm in the big leagues and trying to figure out, how did this happen? How did I get here? You know,
Yeah.
and for some guys, everybody's path is different. But that was mine. That was my path. That's the way things played out for me. I focused on where I was at the time. I mean, you've heard you had conversation with guys that were worried about, well, how come that guy got called up and this guy got called up, but this guy moved here and he went there. Well, you know what? Those are things that you and I can't control.
You can't control, man. And you know what, man? I love that you brought this up, because it's a big topic for me, and I share with people a lot of time. I say, listen, man, I had a lot of talent, but I always was like thinking about, I don't want this to happen. Oh, I don't want to strike out, or I don't want to make an error, or oh God, why do I got to go back to Clinton? Why did this happen? And I gave so much energy to negative stuff when I was younger, and didn't even tap, the level of potential that I should have, because I didn't realize that I could control my thoughts, my energy, my emotions. I didn't have anyone to guide me or share with me, hey man, these things are in your control. And if you can control this, man, you're going to win at life, and it happens. I mean, people that watch this, maybe you're, you have your own business, maybe you're in real estate, maybe you're not, maybe you have, you're just like somebody that is watching this to realize, man, I feel stuck. I don't know how to get unstuck, and really tap my highest level of potential. Because I think, like, I mean, we all have talent, but how can you tap? I think, like, even with you, Marv, you tapped like your highest level of potential. Like all that was in you, you tapped, and you did it by being, by being present. We've never chatted about this. We just hang when you come to town, but
Yeah.
you did it by being present and focusing on the things that you could control, and not worrying about stuff that you can't control. And I think it's such a simple thing, but
You know what's funny? What's funny is that while I was starting and playing every day in the big leagues with the Giants, I could have named at least 5 outfielders in the minor leagues that were better than me, and I could acknowledge the fact that they were better than me. You had Dante Powell, there was Jacob Cruz, there was Dan Denbo, um, McKinley that came out of Arizona State. These are all guys that were first round picks for the Giants.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I knew that I was just buying time, and as soon as those guys were ready, they were gonna push me to the side and put them in to go do their. Because every organization wants to put forth their best. In their mind, if this guy was a first round pick, but this guy's a 50th round pick, yeah, it makes us look like, hey, wait a minute, something went wrong here. You
yeah,
picked this guy first, but yet this one, the one you picked last, is playing better than him. So he doesn't look that good in certain ways, but at the same time, it goes, whoa, look, they gave this guy an opportunity.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
so
when you were in double A, man, you used to tell, or high, even, well, you went from single A straight to double A, but you used to tell people, man, hey, when I get to the major leagues, man, I'll send you some bats down.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. But
and,
I
and that's
did.
and that's the belief that you saw yourself. Hey, whether
Yeah,
other people would say, "Oh, whatever, Marv," or whatever,
yeah,
you saw yourself being in the major leagues before
yeah.
you were at the major leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, things had changed back by then. My confidence was up, and I knew that I could actually be here, I could play here, I could do things that I needed to do to get to where I wanted to get. So it probably sounded like I was being a little bit cocky, but it was more of my confidence.
Yeah,
And again, it's because I kept working at it, and I took advantage of an opportunity that I got. And once I saw that it worked, I figured I could continue with that same sort of blueprint, so to speak. In the off season, I could go ahead and work my butt off, and knowing that I was going to come prepared for the season, and just keep working. And the work part, and it just took off from there. It just took off from there. Can't even, I
so
mean,
putting in the consistent work,
yep.
whether showing up with it, and the things I can say, man, from knowing you before the world knew you, was you had fun. You show up at the field. I mean, obviously, like in the clubhouse, we, before the games, whatever. Back then it was like MTV Spring Break and
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead, right? We were talking about. And, listen to, Cypress Hill and House of Pain and all that. But it was, but it was like fun.
Well, yeah.
You always lived and played that way. And anyway, sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I mean, you have to be able to stop and smell the roses, so to speak, because I mean, you can't just it can't be all just business. You're gonna lose focus on it. You're gonna burn yourself out. That's my 2 cents. So you have to be able to find a way how to balance things out. But if you're too focused, you're gonna lose. You're gonna miss out on
Yeah.
little things. You know what I mean? So it's important to have an idea what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and have an idea how you're going to go about it, and then just go down the path, just walk it.
What are some of the things that, so obviously you got to the big leagues, played for 8 years?
Eight years, 8 full years in the big leagues. Yeah.
Yeah, 8-year career in the Giants Hall of Fame on the wall. I can't believe I haven't even seen it yet, but when I heard about it, friends of mine will call and go, "Hey man, aren't you real close with Marvin?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, we're like brothers." They're like, "Yeah, dude, I'm standing by his
His
face or
plaque,
whatever, his
his
plaque."
plaque. Yeah.
And
Yeah. No.
I'm like, "Damn, I gotta go see that." So, but I'll get to it hopefully this year. But so, you get to the big leagues, you have this good career, you play, obviously that's in the heyday of Bonds, who probably arguably is the greatest hitter that ever played the game. What did you see? Like, let me ask you, from a guy like Bonds, that Barry Bonds, that had this, he was just kind of on his own level. What did you like? The guys that tap that high level of their potential, obviously he had massive potential, but what was it? Because some people think, oh, he's like arrogant or this or that. And I always tell people, I say, listen, man, like people that they think they're cocky or arrogant, like what you said, they really believe they're that good. Even if I tell people, it doesn't matter if it's guys, I don't want to rip any names, but guys that you go, man, they're like, okay. And then pretty soon, 3 years later, they're in the big leagues and play for 10 years because they believe that they're better than they really are. And so they play to that level. Right. So
Yeah.
what is your, let me ask you this so people can hear, what is your most, where you were like, when you saw Bonds did something, you were like, man, I am not like, I can't believe I just saw that. What was the craziest thing that you ever saw, aside from him hitting, 73 home runs? What was the craziest thing that you saw where it really had you go, man, there's like really another level to this?
The day he hit, was it 73? No, it was. I'm trying to. McGuire hit 70, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the day he hit 71, the day he hit
Okay.
71, it was something like we had a day game in Houston. We showed up to the ballpark about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and this guy was sleeping on the couch. He's literally sleeping on the couch. We got up and we went out, took batting practice, stretch and everything, and he never moved. When we came back in, he woke up, I think, about 12 o'clock or something like that for a 1 o'clock game. It was 1 o'clock. He got up, he stretched. He didn't take any batting practice. He didn't hit off the tee. He just stretched, warmed up, and went and played the game. And he got walked his first 3 times. His first 3 at-bats, they walked him on purpose. By his fourth at-bat, I think we were up like in the seventh, eighth inning. It was like a 7-1, 7-2 ball game. Pretty much the game was out of hand by then. And on his fourth at bat, I believe it was, they brought in a lefty from the bullpen that he had never seen before. He was a kid that just gotten called up in the big leagues, and he was a left-hander, and he's lefty on lefty. And the first pitch that he threw him, it was like a 95 miles an hour fastball, and he fouled it straight back. And then the second pitch he got, it was another 95, 96 miles an hour fastball, and he put it like 15 rows in right center field. Right, so this guy's been sleeping literally all day long, hasn't been involved in the game because they're just walking him. Okay, he saw 2 pitches, he missed one and hit the other one out. So for me, that's when I went. And you'd seen little bits and pieces here and there, but for me, I couldn't comprehend how is it that someone could do something like that from literally not seeing pitches all day long.
Yeah.
Because back then it's not like they just put their fist out and they throw the ball, so they just lob it in. It's not even like they were pitching to him and he was seeing pitches, but they were missing. No, they were just literally just putting their arms out and walking them. And then he sees 2 pitches, misses one, and hits the other one up in the seats. So that's when you realize that the level that he's on was different than everybody else's. I was watching MLB Network today, right? And they were talking about Mike Trout.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about Mike Trout, comparing him to Mickey Mantle. And the thing has to say, you're seeing a new version of Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle's 5'11". This guy, Mike Trout, 6'2", 230. Mickey Mantle's a lot smaller, a lot lighter, but he moves and he plays almost identical. He hits, of course, Mickey hit from both sides of the plate. Mike only hit from one side of the plate, but they were showing a lot of similarities between those two guys, and you sit there and
Hmm.
go, um, it's amazing because you don't, at the time that you're going through it, right? It's like, let's say, an investor at the time that he's going through the whole investment process. He
Hmm.
doesn't see himself, or nobody sees him, 10 years down the road where he's living in a fat house and he's,
Yeah, like Kevin Hart.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, but he was on stage and people knew he was funny. For example, Kevin Hart, right? They knew he was funny, but no one probably, I mean, there's not one person probably say, yeah, man, in 10 years, you're going to blow up.
Yeah.
You're going to blow up. You're going to fill arenas. People are going to come listen to you give jokes, and you're going to be in movies, and you're going to be doing all these. Nobody envisions that, but they know that he's working at it, and they think, oh, yeah, he's pretty funny, you know. Um, but I'm pretty sure he had an idea what he wanted to do,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
Uh,
you like like we were talking, when you say, hey, so and so, when I get to the big leagues, I'll send you some bats down, right?
yeah,
And because obviously you get better wood, uh, and that's a whole nother story. And so people would say, oh yeah, Marv, whatever. But you really believe, like, hey man, I'm being, and then that confidence built. You had a great second half in Clinton. You went to Double A. Well, I think you went to Winter Ball, or maybe you went to Double A
no,
then Winter Ball,
I went to Double A.
and
I
then
went to I went to Double A.
had a great year.
I had a great year, and I hit like 315. Went, they sent me to Winter Ball.
Confidence,
Um,
confidence, build, build, build,
yeah,
build, build.
yeah, and I remember going down to Mexico and playing in Mexico, and the guys down there, they flat out told me, if you could hit 260 and above here in this league, you get to the big leagues. And I thought it sounded strange to me, and I said, I don't understand. He goes, and they said, well, anybody can hit a fastball, but here in this league, they're going to throw you anything and everything, including the kitchen sink, and if you could hit
Yes.
that, you can hit in the big leagues. And at the time, you don't understand what they're saying. And then you go through the process and you're like, oh, I see what they mean. Because I mean, literally, you got these guys that pitch in Mexico, has been pitching for 15, 20 years, and they know they got all these tricks how to, make the ball move, make it cut, make it sink, make it dive, and so if you could stay on it, so to speak, keep your nose on it, when you go to the big leagues, it's totally different.
So what did you hit there?
I ended up hitting 275,
So you
so
passed the test.
yeah, 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 and it was interesting. I mean, but again, the key to the whole thing, you have to go through the process, and you have to be able to find a way, um, to pick out things that you're good at.
Hey,
And
talk about that real quick, Marv. Is the process, because you see people these days. You touched on it. Kevin Hart. Oh, instant success. You can Post Malone, right? Oh, instant success. Which he's kind of a goofball. But
yeah,
I saw him the other day with the tattoos. But basically, like, a lot of people don't realize they want everything now, right? Like
yeah,
it's like, you know what, I want to do. Maybe they're in risk. I want to do my first deal. I got to do this. I got to do that. And it's like, dude, like, or chick, whatever. Just like do the stuff that you can control. Make your
yeah.
calls every day. Have a great attitude every day. Be thankful and appreciative and happy every day. And if you do that, everything else falls into place. And so just touch on real quick, like, from baseball, obviously it relates to life, but
Mm.
just like the process that you've seen other successful major league guys. What is the process that you see that like maybe two or three key things that all of them do that they have in common?
Well, they end up learning that there's only two things in sports really that you can control. In my 2 cents, is your attitude and your work ethic. That's
Hmm.
it. That's the only thing you can control. Because once the game starts, you can't control anything. The pitcher has the ball. The umpire calls what's strike and what's ball. The other umpires tell you if you're safe or you're out, or. But anyway, so if your attitude is bad, chances are your work ethic's going to be bad. and you stick with those and you keep working at it, and you find things that you're good at. You find things that you're good at, and you stick with it, and you try to be the best you can at it. You know what I mean? You can't.
Oh, we lost him, but he'll join back on here in a second. So, Justin, thanks for reaching out, man. Hey, DJ, what's up, man? Great to see you in here, Justin. I'll reach out to you here after the show. I'm sure Marvin will log back on here in a second. So, but you guys, those of you that are watching or listening to this on the podcast, here are some things that, there you are, man.
Yeah. Kind of odd. Kind of lost you quick.
I was telling everyone that you'll be back on in a second. And as everybody can see, I had to just for Marv and I did our names in black and orange, Giants colors. So, but those of you that are listening to this, can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I got an appointment at 2:00. I totally spaced on you on this one.
That's okay, buddy. Do you have 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so the stuff that we talked about today, Mark, from having a good attitude, taking advantage. What you said, the two things, right? Work ethic. You can control how hard you work and the stuff in the amount of work and how hard you go at it, and your attitude. And I so agree, man. So hey, man. Just want to say, man, love you, bro. Thanks for being on. And hit me up when you guys come to town, and we'll catch up.
Will do, bud. Thanks, man. And you guys take care.
You too, man.
Right. Okay.
Hey,
bye.
Yep. So those of you that were on here, you can kind of see what Marvin was talking about, and the crazy thing is this relates to life. It relates to business. It relates to being successful in anything that you do. And hearing today from a guy that had a magnificent Major League Baseball career, and say that the two things that you can control, guys and gals, please hear me on this. And absolutely, Christine says attitude is everything. Absolutely, my friend. And and here's the thing. So it sounds so simple, right? But it's like it is. It's very simple to do, but very, very few people do it because it's easier. The easy path is to go through the day and react to everything that happens. And to react to this, and this happens, and that happens, and this person said this, and I got a message, and it's so easy to go through the day. The easy thing is to go through the day and react to everything that comes at us. The hard thing to do, and the reason that people win, and the way that people are successful, like Marvin in baseball, like you or anyone else in life, in the way that you're going to tap your highest level of potential, are two things. Just like Marvin said, is you have to control your attitude, okay? Which means that how can you control your attitude? Well, you can start a morning routine, which I'm big on, which I didn't get into with Marv, but you can start a morning routine where you wake up, you exercise. My recommendation is this: go onto YouTube and watch The Miracle Morning. And if you do that, you're going to see how, like, a way that you can start your day every day with great energy, excitement, and it will literally change your life. It's changed my life. It's completely changed my life. And I really highly recommend you to go on and watch The Miracle Morning by Howard on YouTube and start implementing into your life. This is going to allow you to learn that you can control your morning, right? So if you can control your morning, and you can control how your morning starts, do you think that it's going to allow you to start controlling things throughout your day? Absolutely. So you control your morning, you start with something, good exercise, good breakfast, positive thinking, meditation, expecting good things to happen, and you'll be amazed at all the great things and amazing things that happen. Also the work ethic, you guys, just like Marvin said, like he may not have been the most talented guy that he played with, he said right on the show, there were guys that had way more talent than him, but here he is in the major leagues playing, going, these guys have more talent than me, but guess what? I believe in myself more than they do. They're not going to outwork me, right? And that's what kept him there for 8 years. Guys, not like 1 year or 2 years, eight solid years leading off and hitting leadoff for the San Francisco Giants, playing Major League Baseball. And so just to encourage you, hey, if you're not having a good attitude through the day, you have to change that. If you want to tap the highest level, I'm saying if you want to tap the highest level of your potential that you personally have, that's something that you can control. So if you want to do that, you have to control your attitude. And I just shared with you how. Also, your work ethic. I know people, you guys, that say, oh, I'm grinding. I made 5 calls. Man, if you make 200, like at least 150, okay? If you're in business or if you're in sales or anything like that, if you're not making at least 100 phone, look, I went from 200 to 150 to 100. But if you're not making at least 100 phone calls, you ain't working hard. Like, I'm just telling you, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say 50, okay? But if you're not putting in the work, you can't expect to reap good things. You can't expect good things to come your way and for your business to grow or for success to happen, because it's attitude and work ethic that are going to get you there. So with that said, you guys, have an awesome day. And remember, please, 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 share this video. I'm going to be giving away one of my books. For those of you that share this, I'm going to give away one of my books here called Game Changers. You can see it right here in the screen. Okay, best-selling book with me on the cover. And this is the world's leading entrepreneurs reveal how they're changing the game and how you can too. Okay, so this is one of my best-selling books. I'm going to sign this and give this. Those of you that share this, I'm going to pick one person that shares this and announce it on the show next week. But if you feel like someone can get value out of this, that it's positive, that it can uplift them, that they need to hear something, that they realize, hey, my life, what happens to me is 100% in my control, because I can control my attitude and I can control my work ethic. And so if you want to share this with somebody, please share, please like, please, share it with people that you think need to hear it. This is DJ with DJ's Dugout signing off. I love all of you. Have an awesome, amazing week. And I'll see you next week live at 12:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.